All right, we're back again. We're in Photoshop and we just burned. What we did by burning was take away some of the interest in the bottom, right? And starting to create a focal point up here. Now, one thing I want to do, this door is a little dark. And when you have an image that has a very, very dark spot or a very, very light spot, that's where your eye goes to first. And we don't want that to be our focal point. We want you to, you tell the viewer where you want them to go, right? Sorry about that. That was 11 words coming out of my mouth at one time. I'm going to say it again one more time so Google can translate this. You tell the viewer where you want them to go by how you direct the light. And since most of us cannot control the sun, or if we end up at an airplane graveyard like I did at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and this is not the lighting I want, and I'm also not trying to get caught by authorities, because of a small private property issue, then you just kind of work with what you got and you get in the car, right, and get moving. So this is what I had. I couldn't wait for the sun to change and make this lighter, but I can make a new layer. I can go up to the top too. Go layer, new layer, and name it Dodge, which is just like using the K tool in Lightroom to withhold exposure or lighten an area up. Now in this, I need the white to be in the front. So what I do is hit X as in X-Men, and it switches. Okay. So I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller. Now, if something happens and you sneeze and you're like, Choo! Don't worry about it. Get the eraser. This is the only time you will ever use the eraser in Photoshop, and you can erase what you did, right? At no other point will you use the eraser. But this is a blank layer that we're painting on, so you're okay. Then, just like I did with the burn layer, I changed the layer blending mode, which will change the way that one layer looks when applied against another from normal to soft light. And you'll see, oh man, there is stuff in there, right? Zoom back out. Now I think it's a little too light, it's drawing a little bit too much of my attention, so I'm going to darken it up by reducing the opacity of that layer. But it's still really helpful. So that black spot I'm just not getting stuck there. So this is what your layer palette will look like when you turn it in. And you'll have one curves. You may have more than one curve. We will, in the next week, we'll be talking about how to edit this layer mask. You'll have one black and white, and you can have several burning and dodging. Because if I wanted to dodge another part, but have a different opacity, I can't do it on this layer. I would need to make a new layer. All right? So now I'm done. All I have to do to go back into Lightroom is hit this red dot right here. Okay? And it's going to say, do you want to save the changes that you made? And hit save. And now when you go back into Lightroom, you'll see that you have your original and that edit. So it saved right back into Lightroom. But if you want to change it from here, this is the tricky part. You don't want to just right-click, edit in, right? Because what happens is you get these options, which are fine, but it will make another image. It will make another. So if I hit edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments, it opens that copy, and where are all your layers, right? It's giving you another layer, and what it did is it compressed your layers, not allowing you to go back and change anything. So that's not what you want. What you want to do is select the layer, right-click, show in Finder. And what that will do is show you where in your Lightroom Pictures folder that TIFF lives. Now, in this case, it saved it as a TIFF with layers. You can also save it as a Photoshop document. So that's just a small difference. To edit this file, you right-click, open with Photoshop. And now you can go in and say, all right, I'm going to make one more dodge layer. I'm going to call it dodge 2, and I'm going to dodge, let's see, I'm going to grab the brush, and I'm going to just paint it like that. And because I want you to see how the image updates, I am not going to change the layer blending mode. I'm going to hit save. You'll notice we still just have one file, and it will update, right? And you can see, you should be able to see. There it is. I can see it popping up, and then see how there's that little bit of paint there? Meaning that's the same image we worked on. So you're not creating different images. It's having a little bit of a tough time right now updating. 1 of 2, 2 of 2. So it's not updating here, which is a little weird. But yeah, if you look at your grid, there it is. Okay. And there it is. Okay, it just took a second to update. Now, right click here, show in Finder, grab that TIFF file. It's already selected. Right click, open with Photoshop, and all of your layers are there. So this keeps you from losing your layer structure, which is so important because A, that's how I grade you, and B, that's how you learn to work non-destructively and most efficiently in Photoshop. And also, you can do things like this. Oh, that looks better, right? So then I can change that like that. So that's at 57. This first dodge is at 59 or maybe 65. So that's why I had to make 2. And again, when you're done, you just hit Command Q to quit. And a Photoshop document is a document you save that contains your layers. TIFF is also an option that will save with your layers. You do not have to worry about overwriting your original DNG file because it literally won't let you. You cannot save a file from Photoshop as a DNG. All right, so let's practice some of that.